Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another GeoGuessr video here. And today, as you guys can probably tell by the title, it's our 3K sub Q&A. What a big milestone. I am thankful to all of you for watching the videos, commenting, subscribing, liking, like everything that you guys do to help support the channel it really means a lot to me, and I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I never thought that I would start making GeoGuessr content on YouTube, and I never thought that it would somewhat take off like this. I know I'm a long way from where I want to be in terms of content creation, but I think 3K is a pretty good place to start. So I appreciate all of you viewers, all of you watchers, all of you lurkers. Appreciate you guys so much, and I'm looking to answer some questions for you guys today. So hopefully your question is on here and we can get to find out the answers to those. All right, first question here. We have, do you like Sweden, from Caspiano8526? Yeah, I really enjoyed Sweden when I was there. It was a very cool place. I think my one gripe with it is that it's a little bit more pricey than a lot of the other countries that I've traveled to in Europe, especially. But that's expected. High quality of living, of course, up there in Sweden. So, I mean, it was a great place. I enjoyed Stockholm a lot. The architecture, beautiful. Streets are nice and walkable, good public transportation, and it was a nice GeoGuessr World Cup venue as well. And I loved me some Max Burger. So all of those things, like, I think Sweden is a great place to live. Aside from the summers, I can assume are quite brutal, but other than that, Sweden just seemed like a really cool place. And, you know, excited to visit Denmark this year, another one of the Nordic countries. So we'll see which one is better. I guess we'll figure that out in the 5K sub Q&A if it does come up. All right, next question here is, do you think we'll get some unks in the World Cup? I'm thinking of Gelotris ... from Glitchy CR 1381. Maybe one day they'll have a seniors World Cup for me, Gelotris. I don't want to name other older people in the GeoGuessr community, so maybe just a 1v1 between me and Gelotris as a little show match with unks in the World Cup. Could be nice. I mean, it would be fun. So yeah, maybe one day is my answer to that question. All right, next question here from Arnd Tway 235. Q&A, what do you do for a living? So without getting too into detail, I am a data analyst at a decently sized American company. So that's pretty much my day-to-day. I work remotely, so I have a bit more flexibility with my schedule than most people who go into the office would. So content creation is kind of just a hobby for me, as working obviously full-time. So yeah. Next question from Declaris1. How do you get so jacked, and what are your favorite exercises at the gym? I wouldn't say I'm jacked per se. Like, there's definitely people better fitness YouTubers than me, because I'm honestly, quite frankly, a little out of shape. I do have the musculature, I guess, but like I wish I was in like better cardiovascular shape in that sense. As for my favorite exercises to do in the gym, I really do enjoy a little shoulder press. That's probably my favorite. It's probably my best lift as well, like some dumbbell shoulder press. And I've been enjoying hitting the back recently, so doing some lat pull downs, some lawnmowers, amongst other things. Like obviously enjoy doing like tricep extensions, bicep curls. Kind of your basic stuff is like my favorite. I don't really get too into, like, I don't really have a niche lift that I enjoy doing. So that's what I like doing, and I'm enjoying like hopping on the treadmill, walking for an hour at an incline. So that's always fun as well. So those things probably my main favorite exercises, I guess, in the gym. All right, from 19 Alligators, what is your favorite reptile? Well, obviously it's going to be an alligator. Really no question to it. Not really a big reptile guy, but the alligator seems like a cool thing. Would not want to encounter it in the wild, of course, but you know, just an overall very cool animal. All right, we'll move on to the next question here. What's one thing in the game you've significantly studied that's increased your overall skill? So I would say I'm more of a jack of all trades player, if you guys know me. There are players that are specifically known for one country. Finbar, for example, very known for Russia. But honestly, he's probably one of the most well-rounded people I know. He's good at both moving, no move, and NMPZ. So you can't really call him the Russia guy. He's definitely much more than that nowadays. He's one of the best players in the world. But as at least for me, I honestly think just playing and grinding maps and just kind of getting that mental image of what I think certain countries look like and able to recognize it by forming those kind of vibes in your head that you get from significantly studying just by playing maps and volume and doing duels and just seeing round after round. I'm not really the biggest map maker guy either. I did do the map making, of course, for the 5 minutes every pro should know stuff, but I'm not the biggest map maker overall. And that's probably why my skill is somewhat lacking in like no move, especially just because like I don't know car color and copyright as much as like most other pro players do. So I would say like country recognition is probably my best thing. Like I won't miss the country as often as a lot of other players, especially on NMPC, I think, because I used to be a big country streaks player back in the day, so I think my knowledge, at least for getting countries, is pretty good, aside from rural rounds, of course, that everybody struggles with, where there's no like definitive clues about something or the other. So I guess that's probably one thing in my game, just grinding away at games. I've hit 25k games, of course, as you guys know, so I would say that's probably the biggest thing for me. All right, thoughts on wrong country guesses from HC the Bro. Listen, I don't mind it as long as it's executed properly. There's no worries. If you are trolling and you know, you're just doing it, and I mean, you end up winning, like, good for you, I guess. I don't know. I don't really have too much to say about this, but if executed well and not done in like a BM way, I think it's totally fine. All right, moving on to Ground Jordans. So it's a three-parter here. If you could A, speak any and every language fluently, so we'll answer that one first. It's one of three options. So if you could A, speak any and every language fluently, play any or every instrument masterfully, or cook any and every dish perfectly, which of the three options would you pick? For me, I would rule out B immediately. I'm not, like, although I love music and I love singing and stuff like that, I'm just not the biggest instrument guy. I think language is honestly very useful because language is kind of the key, I feel like, to unlocking, like, you know, you see those dumb clickbaity videos where it's like, oh, they thought I couldn't speak Chinese until I I don't know. It's like so stupid. But I don't know. I would probably honestly say the language one, because for me, with my background, which I'll go into later, I think it's another question on here, I wish I could speak the languages that of the actual ethnic backgrounds that I am, because that would be honestly really nice, and it would help me feel a bit more connected to my culture, because I am very American, I feel like, in a way. Like, I grew up here, my parents grew up here, even my grandparents grew up here, so I feel like I'm kind of ingrained in American culture, whereas a lot of people that are first generation, like Asian Americans, Mexican Americans, I don't know, they can all speak a second language because that's what they grew up speaking at home, which I kind of wish like I had that as well, but I can only speak English, so it's definitely a goal of mine to learn some languages, and that would honestly be the perfect cheat code, I feel like, in my opinion. All right. Next question is, the Geo community is worldwide. What are your thoughts on the community? Are players friendly IRL? Yeah, so I guess a two-parter question there. What are your thoughts on the community? I think every gaming community is going to have its good eggs, bad eggs, people that a lot of people are very controversial that people don't like, and people that are awesome bastions of the community that we can hold up and use as the face of GeoGuessr. And, you know, I think GeoGuessr has both of those polarizing figures, obviously. You got your cheaters, people that are just constant trolls, and then you have people that obviously, like, are amazing. They're great faces for the game. They always, you know, show themselves well. They market GeoGuessr well. Obviously, Oscar, one of those people. Kodiak, Lenley, with what they're doing on YouTube now. Every one of those people, I think, are a quote-unquote good image for the game. And then you're going to get some bad seeds in the community as well, that aren't so well known unless you're, like, deeply ingrained in the community. So So I think the community overall is actually quite healthy right now. There's obviously going to be controversy every day, but it's not to the biggest degree in which, like, you know, many other esport games are going. But yeah, I'm personally a fan of the community. I've met a lot of really good friends through GeoGuessr and just talking with them on Discord every day, like who I'm staying with in Copenhagen. Very excited to stay with them because, you know, I've slowly become friends with them over the course of like 2 years or so, just by knowing them and knowing them through playing Geo. So I think the community is really strong in that aspect, is it kind of provides you with lifelong friendships in a way. And are players as friendly in real life? Yeah, honestly, they are. I feel like most of them, you know, it is a geography game after all, so most people will be a tad socially awkward. Like when I went to Stockholm, I feel like the interactions were a little bit kind of interesting. But you know, for me, I'm very introverted as well, and I try my best to convey like an extroverted thing especially when I go to Geo events, because I want to keep the conversation going. I want to talk to as many people as possible, because I honestly think meeting as many people as possible, especially in the Geo community, because it's so worldwide, is so cool. And yeah, I feel like most of the players were very friendly. I enjoyed talking to every one of the pro players that were at the World Cup. Super nice individuals, and you know, just great people. And yeah, I mean, if you're coming to Copenhagen this year, you can find out and meet them yourself, and hopefully I get to meet you as well. So very excited for the World Championship in Copenhagen. So let's move on to the next question here. Why do you always troll when playing with Gelotris? I mean, it's just like me and Gelotris just kind of have this friendship where it's like, I don't know, we do a little bit of trolling sometimes, but also like, oh man, playing with him, like I just feel like I can't play to the best of my abilities, because I don't know, there's just something about it, just goofing around with your friends, where it's like, Gelotris is usually the one who's carrying me, honestly, and I'm probably playing like just absolutely terrible. But yeah, c'est la vie. All right, next question from Ev here for the Q&A. Who's the most underrated GeoGuessr content creator right now? Number 2, do you have a favorite map? And if so, what is it? And number 3, who is your favorite GeoGuessr player from Minnesota? So I'll answer the last one first. It's obviously Ev Beveridge. You guys should go check out his channel. Little shameless plug there. Most underrated GeoGuessr content creator right now? I honestly think Sword Slicer is producing some good content. Just playing duels. He really goes into depth of like explaining his thought process. He'll review rounds as well, which I feel like I don't do as much. I do it sometimes, but not to the degree that he does. And he has a great community on the Sword Slicer Discord. So for me, at least, that's probably my most underrated GeoGuessr content creator, besides Ev, of course. And then number 2, we're kind of going 3-1-2 here, but number 2, do you have a favorite map? And if so, what is it? I personally have a huge soft spot for AI generated world, because back when it came out in like, I want to say it was 2021, 2022, dude, it was so fun, because it was kind of pushing the boundaries of what maps were, because we were really running diverse world, community world most of the time. But with AI generated world, it was supposedly AI generated, but there were so many bait locations, and you got to see so many cool places in that map that kind of diverse world didn't really take you to. Like, it was, diverse world was very standard ABC Geo, but with AI generated world, it opened up like boundaries of what you would think a country looks like. Like, oh, I would never guess this country on this location, but it actually ended up being this country, which I thought was so sick. So I personally learned a lot of like bait locations from that, and it's helped me even to this day with that. And like, that's probably my biggest soft spot, is AI generated world. So shout out to Roland. I don't know if he's still involved in the community. I think he does update the map, but we miss you, Roland. And you know, you were definitely one of the OGs for me, and one of my favorite maps, probably my favorite map overall in GeoGuessr. I know that's going to be an unpopular opinion, but yeah, that's probably just me. All right, what country is your heritage from? So this is the question that I kind of alluded to prior, but so basically I am half Japanese, and then the other half is like a mixture of Chinese, Filipino, and Spanish. So my dad's full Japanese, of course, and then my mom is the mix of all three. And that's kind of how it is coming from Hawaii, I guess. I know a lot of like people that are mixed like me in terms of whether that be Asian, whether that be Asian and white, whether that be Asian and Hawaiian and Pacific Islander. There's so many mixtures in Hawaii, and that's just kind of how Hawaii is. It's just a big melting pot. Like, honestly, you can say the US is the melting pot, but Hawaii is definitely like a melting pot, especially in terms of Asian races. So yeah, that's probably a little background, I guess, on me and my heritage. All right, so stuck at 1500-ish from Shako Bezu. Realizing I have to learn Russia to progress further. Best high yield way to learn Russia, in your opinion? So I responded to a comment, I think a different comment by a different person, but kind of my point still stands for that. I would say using the Plonket app is, or sorry, the Plonket website is very valuable. Going to the Russia guide and kind of just downloading Finbar's JSONs with you know, you got your different types of antenna. You can click through coverages like that. So if you have the map making app open, if you have two monitors, for example, if you have the map making app open on one monitor, and then you're playing like one of Finbar's maps, I would start with short antenna. It's probably the easiest to learn. A, B, C, very B. Probably start with those. So Finbar has specific maps for those. So if you're practicing, let's say, the B type antenna map, you can pull up the B type antenna JSON, and have the locations on your second monitor there. And then you can kind of see where the coverage pockets are, so you know when to guess. So you can build up that muscle memory so you know where the B-type antenna is when you just get a rush around on no move and you look at the antenna, oh, we have B-type here. I know we can only be in these pockets of places. And that's kind of, I feel like, the best way to learn, in my opinion, in terms of Russia. Like, I'm not the best Russia player in general, but I think that's probably, honestly, the best way to start. All right, next Q&A is on your travels. What country would you like to spend more time in? So I've been to a good handful of countries recently as an adult. I feel like the big countries that I've been to are Japan, Portugal, Netherlands, Czechia, Hungary, Austria, and Sweden. And then I guess Mexico, kind of. And then I went to Canada to Vancouver for a little bit, just with family. So I would say for me, my favorite place that I visited is Japan. I'm obviously going to have a soft spot for Japan, being half Japanese. But the other thing, probably my favorite European country that I visited was Portugal. The food was affordable there. Public transport wasn't that bad, honestly, in Lisbon. I didn't hate it. It's a beautiful, beautiful country. Porto kind of blew me away when I saw when you get off the train and then you just see the bridge stretching out over the river, man. Oh, it's amazing. It's really amazing, and I would love to spend more time in Portugal. I want to go back one day. I obviously want to check off other countries off my list first, but Portugal, soft spot for me. Definitely one of my favorite places to visit, besides Japan, of course, which is number one, at least for me. All right, Trees Eric says, who's your favorite Geo player? Favorite Geo player? That's kind of hard. I'm gonna take the political answer of just saying I don't really have one, I guess. Pro players that I'm closest to, I guess, like people like Bag and Finbar, as you know, Rowan, Jamabi, Gelotris, people like that, Shimmy. Would say those are probably my closest friends in the Geo community. But I don't really have a particularly favorite Geo player that I'm always like rooting for. And do you have a favorite guess of all time? Honestly, it's hard for me to think about guesses and like how much I love them. I don't know. Like, I like when I don't miss Hawaii. That's probably my best answer. Like, because missing Hawaii, I'm gonna get instantly ridiculed for it. So not missing Hawaii is definitely like probably my favorite guess of all time at that time. So that would be my choice. All right. I really enjoyed every video I've watched on your channel. Chill gameplay with good explanations, very high skill, of course. My question is, what is the best way to learn to region guess big countries? Most interested in the US. Should we go over every document out there to basically memorize everything? Or would playing a lot of games be the best way to improve? For reference, I consider myself a solid player, but I'd like to take that next step and get closer to the professionals. Thanks and keep up the good work. Shout out Milan. Jovanovic, I believe. For the question. Personally, I probably think the best way to get better at a country is by playing it and then maybe reviewing what rounds that you got wrong and why you were wrong on those rounds. So like maybe you can, I think there is a script that actually allows you to take all like, oh, maybe that's for missed countries though. I was gonna say there's a script that allows you to get like locations in which you missed the country and then automatically put that into like a JSON file for you, and then you can just upload it and then review, oh, why did I miss this, and where did I go, and how can I improve next time so I recognize the coverage next time. I honestly think the best way is, if you're planning to region guess bigger countries specifically and not just the US, I would say less extreme region guessing, extreme region guessing, all of those Finbar maps are good. But with USA specifically, I would just say playing the USA kind of gets you a good feel for stuff. Obviously, mapping is also important because there's so many different car colors and copyrights in the USA that it's important to learn basic stuff, at least in terms of that. So I would say mapping that is important. Learning where you get, oh, you can get southern reflectors in these states. You can get the northern snow ones in like these states. I mean, all of those things are really important. So reviewing the Plunkett guide, I would say, and definitely going into map making app and looking at why you made the wrong guess and how you can improve on that guess in the future, I think is probably the best way, because learning from mistakes is honestly how you improve at this game, and remembering why you got something wrong and where to guess next time is definitely the best way to learn, at least in my opinion. All right. Isaac says, best tips for someone just getting started with GeoGuessr? I would say Plunkett.net. I know I've plugged Plunkett like 3 times in this video, but Plunkett.net is probably the best way to learn, in my opinion. It's has guides for every country on there that has coverage, official coverage in GeoGuessr. So reading that, watching gameplay videos from people like me, Finbar, Kodiak, Lenley. I know Kodiak and Lenley mainly do their stuff in German. Oscar's really good. Zigzag, of course, Oscar. But yeah, just people who play through and explain your guesses. Watching Twitch streams as well. Asking questions in Twitch streams can also help. But honestly, just playing the game and learning, oh, why is this one like Finland? You know, we have a yellow sign background with a red border. It looks Nordic. We have a bunch of pines, stuff like that. Just learning how to identify countries first off, and then you can move into region guessing afterwards, because I think getting countries correct are the best way to be consistent in GeoGuessr, and then the region guessing can come afterwards. All right, Q&A. What are the best tools to get good at GeoGuessr? Do you have any tips to remembering niche country / region specific things, certain bollards, crosswalk signs, etc., and your favorite GeoGuessr tips overall? I think best tools, of course, if you're just starting off with the game, another thing that I didn't plug in that last question is using a learnable world to, I think it has like an extension on whatever browser that you use that will show, oh, this chevron is in Romania, and it'll show a little pop-up with the picture and all of that while you're playing the map. I've never used it, but it looks like a good way to learn and basically get those metas down, like bollards, crosswalk signs, etc., etc. Just identifying things based off of that, and then moving on to more niche stuff, car color, copyright, once you feel like you're ready for that thing. But getting the countries right, as I've mentioned, is definitely the most important. Favorite GeoGuessr tips? I don't really think there is one solution to just being good at GeoGuessr. I think just playing a lot is probably the biggest thing that you can do. And I would say just grinding GeoGuessr is probably the best way that you can improve, but not just grinding and just mindlessly playing games, but grinding and understanding why you're getting countries wrong that you are getting wrong. Next question. How old are you, Unk? From Declaris1. I am of the ripe age of 27 years young. So yeah, that's exciting. Definitely on the older side for a GeoPro, but you know, we move, of course. I love GeoGuessr. It's a great game, and don't see myself stopping anytime soon. Hopefully, at least. All right, next question from Swamp. How much time on average would you spend per day / week playing, and how would you recommend best practicing? Congrats on 3K. Thank you, Swamp. I appreciate that. Time on average, I feel like I have a bit more of a flexible schedule than most. So I would say, honestly, like recently, 2 to 3 hours at least. Just playing GeoGuessr, because it really is the only game that I kind of like grind right now. Like, I'll play some stuff on the side, but I think GeoGuessr is like the main game. I just enjoy the community aspect of it, and hanging out with friends, whether that be just playing solo or doing co-ops as well, are always fun. How do you recommend best practicing? I think, yeah, I mean, I pretty much answered those in the previous question, so just going back and learning from your mistakes is probably the best way to learn. From Pepe Dinaka, you still speak with FatSnail. Where is he? I was actually going to have FatSnail do a cameo for this, but he is pretty busy in Europe right now. He's studying abroad in Europe. No leak, I guess, on that, but I already have, so. Oh, well, I'm sure you won't mind. But he is, like, busy with uni stuff, essentially, so he's probably not playing too much GeoGuessr at the time, but you know, he still keeps in touch by writing in Discord every once in a while. So he's definitely living his best life as a university student or a college student in the US. All right, best maps to practice on. Well, that's a tough question. If you're playing moving, I honestly think that stuff like a community world's good, an official world is good. I'm sure moving players are going to have opinions about that, but yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do for moving. No move NMPZ, I honestly think community world's probably your best gateway map into learning how to identify countries, because the skill level for that map is a little lower, I think, than like ones like Arbitrary Rural World or Varied World or other maps like that. So I definitely think probably community world is probably the best for all three modes overall. But it really depends on what you want to practice. If you want to practice country-specific stuff, then there's a country map for a good country map, not the official one by GeoGuessr, by the way. I would play like an AI-generated one, so you don't just get the country or the capital of the country that you're trying to play 5 times. But yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do with that. All right. Nikki says, have you ever been to Europe? I suppose you live in the USA. I do. Since when do you play? Since when have you started playing GeoGuessr, and when and how have you started learning Russia? So I answered the Russia question earlier in the video. You guys can go back and watch that. Have you been to Europe? I have. As I mentioned, I've gone to Portugal, Netherlands, Czechia, Hungary, Austria, and Sweden. So those 6 countries. I hope to go to Spain after the World Cup this year, so that should be very exciting. And I started playing GeoGuessr, I think, around COVID time. I want to say it was early 2021. I think like January 2021. I was working somewhere, and we were able to, like, on our break times, have access to the computer when we weren't handling customers and stuff. So I stumbled upon a GeoWizard video, and that's kind of how I got started playing GeoGuessr. So it's been a long journey, but still playing GeoGuessr to this day, so it is still quite fun. I did take a couple of hiatuses, but yeah, we are back for now. All right, Gold Batman, would you make more videos for advanced players, like how to improve from 1600-ish? Yes, I could look into it. I think it's hard when you get to that skill level, honestly, because at that point, it's kind of just building up repetition in being able to recognize countries a little bit better, so you make less blunders, especially in duels. And then kind of working on your own to be able to region guess stuff, especially learning big countries, Brazil, Russia, because I feel like most people can get to 1600 just by not trolling a lot on country guesses. But to improve off of that, I feel like learning big countries and not making mistakes in those big countries, because that's where you're going to get the majority of your points, is you're going to get it in like Russia, USA, Brazil, Argentina, Australia, stuff like that, and not making as many blunders there are kind of the key to mitigating risk in GeoGuessr. And that's kind of how you make that jump from about a 1600 player to like an 1800 or a 1900 or a 2K player. in that way. So mitigating your blunders in those countries would probably be my advice for that. But yeah, I think making videos for advanced players is a bit harder because I would have to do country-specific videos, which I'm personally not the best at country-specific stuff. So yeah, probably not the best person to ask for that. All right. Shaka says, how much space does GeoGuessr occupy in your life? I think I mentioned like kind of a lot. Like I enjoy playing the game. Doesn't take away from like my work-life balance. You have a good balance between your personal and GeoGuessr content creation included life. Yeah, I do. I would say so. Doing well with my job, doing well with my significant other, of course, and you know, things are going well there. So I think I balance it pretty well, honestly. And she understands when I say, oh, I need to record a video for this time. She's like, yeah, go for it. So she's very supportive. And of course, I really, really appreciate her. Like she's amazing. And, you know, the best person in the world for me. And if not, what would be the ideal balance? Honestly, yeah, I think I have a good balance there. So yeah, good with GeoGuessr stuff. All right. Synixy, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. How did you get into GeoGuessr? With the GeoWizard thing that I mentioned in early 2021, just stumbled upon one of his videos. I thought it was really cool. I never really had a geography, like, I don't know, geography bug before until then, but man, it just hit me like a truck, and I just really enjoyed getting better at the game. Playing some Battle Royale countries back in the day, man, that was fun. Back when nobody knew anything about anything. But yeah, it was great. And sometimes I wish we could go back to simpler times, but maybe I'm just being a nostalgia merchant at that point. I don't know. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching the 3K subs Q&A. Once again, I really appreciate all of you that watch my videos, like my videos, comment on my videos, and are subscribed. You guys are amazing. And couldn't have done it without you guys. Hopefully, you know, we can push to 5K, 10K soon, you know, who knows? But hopefully everyone enjoyed the Q&A, got a little bit of insight about me. Hopefully I answered all of your questions. If I didn't get to any, drop it in the comments down below and I'll try my best to answer them. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, of course, I guess, so we can hit that 5K mark. And I will see you guys tomorrow for another GeoGuessr video. Peace.